Hello everybody, it's Ryan here from the Melbourne Centre of Healing, and I have a very special guest today. Actually someone I went to high school with many years ago, not too many years.
No, hopefully not.
2 years ago. The beautiful Bianca, and I thought I'd have her on today to share a bit about her story, which is pretty amazing and pretty inspiring, but instead of me talking about it, I'll let her do that. So Bianca, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you just want to tell everyone what the condition is that you have?
Sure. My condition is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It is a genetic connective tissue disorder, so it plays a big factor in ligaments and tendon stability, also blood vessels, so all my arteries and whatnot, they're quite stretchy.
Yep.
So it causes a lot of issues associated with joint stability, blood pressure and heart rate issues as well. So it has quite a big effect on my whole body, essentially.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, and when was it that you were first diagnosed?
I was diagnosed about 7 years ago now. It basically started out when I had my gallbladder removed and my gallbladder ruptured, which was a very rare event.
Okay.
And since then I was quite unwell. I became septic and was quite sick in hospital for quite a while. After that I started having a lot of complications with heart rate and blood pressure, and a lot of chronic pain as well.
Okay.
So I basically pursued a lot of medical intervention, a lot of different specialists as well to try and figure out what was going on, what was causing the issue. And it eventually led me to do a lot of research into what I was experiencing, but also what my mum and my sister were experiencing as well.
Right.
We had a lot of things that overlapped and were quite consistent with each other.
Okay.
So
do they have the same condition as you?
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
right,
We were all diagnosed at the same time by
Yeah.
the same geneticist.
Oh, wow.
So I pursued figuring out what the issues were, and came to the conclusion that this condition, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, was something that I could potentially have. And then 7 years ago I saw a geneticist and we were in there for about 10 minutes and diagnosed.
Yeah, easy as that.
Yep.
Wow.
It was super fast.
Yeah.
So after all those years of trying to figure out what was going on, 10 minutes is all it took.
Wow. So probably at its worst, I suppose, or in those down times, what was it like day to day for you?
Day to day, it was constant chronic pain, so pain in my joints, all down my spine pretty much.
Yeah.
A lot of nerve pain as well, so I had sciatica on both sides.
Yeah.
A lot of nerve pain down my neck and spine in particular as well. I had 5 herniated discs in my spine at that point.
Jeez.
So it was quite difficult, but with the medications I was on as well, I couldn't do a lot of physical activity. I was so fatigued and so run down all the time. So I felt kind of, I guess, trapped in my own body and trying to get, a lot of guidance from all these different doctors who were basically saying, you're getting worse, we got to up the dosage of all your medications, essentially.
I can only imagine what that's like. I have had sciatica in one side before, probably a mild to medium bout, and I whinged like a little bitch for weeks. So I can only imagine what you were going through.
Yeah.
So you were on a lot of medications?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was on antidepressants, anti-seizures, beta blockers, everything, you name it.
A cocktail.
A lot of different painkillers as well, because I'm unable to take codeine.
Yeah.
So it meant I had to try all these different types of medications that were quite heavy.
Yeah.
And it caused a lot of issues in terms of fatigue and, feeling constantly run down and not, not feeling good every day at all.
So it did help somewhat with the pain, but most other areas of your life were struggling.
Pretty much. So, I've had the pain management aspect, which wasn't always great anyway, but then had all these other side effects that weren't doing me justice at all. So it was, compromising my ability to do any exercise or, contribute at work. I had this brain fog all the time. It was just, not a good situation for me personally. Wow,
because I know you today and you're quite successful at what you do. I see pictures on Facebook at the gym. She's got some serious guns on her. So basically I want to know how you started to turn things around to be where you are today.
So I did a lot of research into how I could help myself in terms of using my intuition and using my instincts into how I felt every day and wanting to make myself feel better, but also look at the future in a different light. Instead of, you have a degenerative disease, you're going to get worse. I wanted to take over that control again in terms of, not relying so much on the medical field of giving me the advice on what is best for me and my body, but taking back that power, basically you know, looking at the future in a different light and being a bit more empowered to make a change for my own, you know, my own instincts were telling me this is not a good situation. All this medication can't be good for you. So I basically started weaning myself off of medications against medical advice, but it was the best decision.
Always consult your physician before doing
Absolutely.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, yes.
Yeah.
But so I came off all of these really heavy medications and realised I was fine. I had energy again. I had, you know, the ability to go to gym, you know, like I do 4 times a week now.
Yeah.
And I gradually built myself up and found that, you know, I can do so much more with my life, and I have a lot more control over, you know, how I manage day to day. You know, going to the gym is great for joint stability, and I've done a lot of research into what's really good for my body versus what would be more damaging. So I've done a considerable amount of research and a lot of trial and error as well, just to see how I would react.
And everyone's different, aren't they?
Absolutely.
But I mean,
absolutely.
I feel like people with conditions even just somewhat similar to yours,
Yeah.
I feel like they would stay away from exercise and more not thinking that it might do them harm.
Exactly.
Where it's had the actual opposite effect for you.
Absolutely, and I
Yeah.
think that's helped with a lot of other people I've networked with BDS, and also other things like fibromyalgia and, you know, sciatica and those sorts of conditions. They've seen what I've done in terms of turning my life around and being a lot more, you know, engaged in the fitness industry, and they've gone, oh, hang on a minute, maybe I'll try that.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of people who just have changed their lives because they've taken that natural approach of, you know, going down the path of fitness and eating well, and also, you know, doing things like meditation.
Yeah.
You know, those sorts of things have really helped a lot of other people as well. So I'm really glad to be able to contribute to that.
It's amazing, yeah. Reminded me of similar to what my story was there. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was 19.
Yeah.
And really struggled with that for about 10 years.
Yeah.
But same thing, I was told that I had a degenerative disease that would get worse with age.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's that first step of taking the power back.
Yes.
Like, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely is.
It's saying I can either go down one road that says I'm going to have to manage this for the rest of my life and limit its effects as much as I can, as opposed to saying, hang on, no, my instinct tells me I can create my own reality.
Exactly.
And it's up to me what I create.
Yep.
And I'm happy to say I haven't had symptoms in a couple of years, I think, of Crohn's disease.
Yep,
So
exactly.
that first step is taking the power back, isn't it?
It really is. It
People
really
power.
is.
So tell me what a typical day is for you now, you know, compared to what it was back then.
Typical day for me is I get up about 5:15 in the morning, which a lot of people think I'm crazy to do. I go to gym.
I think you're crazy.
Yes.
Crazy like a fox.
Yeah, totally. And I hit the gym at probably, and I do that for about an hour and 15. So I do a combination of cardio for cardiac strength. So that's helped with my blood pressure and heart rate monitoring. And also do weights. So I do a lot of that to stabilise my joints and basically support my body better. So that's made a huge difference with, you know, things like back pain, you know, on a daily basis. I sit in an office for 8-9 hours a day. I need that strength to be able to get through an entire day of work.
Absolutely.
So that's made a massive difference, and then I'll go off to work, get my work day done. I go home, I cook dinner because that's a therapy thing that I like to do.
Yes.
And then I'll do some study, and then I do some meditation before bed as well. So that just helps me unwind, just regenerate for the next day, just calm my body down. And just, you know, be in more of a peaceful state to get ample amount of rest to start again the next day.
Exactly, and you think that's quite an important part of your practice?
Absolutely, absolutely. I've been really getting into it probably the last 6 months. And it's made a real positive difference in terms of how well I rest of a night time and how good I feel in the next morning to be able to, you know, do the whole routine over again.
That's right, and I mean, you're a very active and busy person, and I think we can get caught up in the momentum of life.
Absolutely.
And each day rolls into the next, we keep doing our thing, and we never take that time to stop and find some stillness in our life.
Exactly.
So I think that's very, very important.
Definitely is.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think your story is a very inspiring one, and I hope that people got a lot out of this. If there's really one takeaway, I think it's trust your instincts about your body and about most things, because every bit of information and advice you get is an opinion, and that's fine, take it on board, but make your own inner opinion the most important one. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from that. So.
Absolutely is.
Awesome, thank you so much for joining
That's
us.
okay.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.